Before we get in the program highlights, time for this week's Joke of the Week.
All right. Where do cows go for lunch?
Well, for entertainment, they would go to the movies. I don't know where they would go for lunch.
The cafeteria.
Oh, okay.
That's not the best joke, but that's okay. This week's garden joke is brought to you by Rescue.com. American-made rescue products keep your family, home, and yard protected from pests such as wasps, hornets, yellow jackets, flies, ants, and more. Learn more at Rescue.com. That's RESCUE.com.
When they go dancing, do they go to the hay down?
Maybe.
Oh, okay. All right. Spring seed saving. Normally when you hear about seed saving, you instantly think, okay, it's time to, in the fall. You're thinking about tomatoes or peppers or whatever that may be in the fall. You're thinking about, you can save seeds in the spring. Now, not everybody's going to fall into this category. Saving seeds in the spring greatly dictates what you did in the fall last year or what you didn't do in the fall, and we'll get into that. Leeks and onions are seeds in which you can save out of your garden this spring if you have left those 1 or 2 plants in the ground last year. They are biennials. They are going to put the plant, they grow the first year like a normal onion, normal leek. Okay, I didn't harvest it. They go dormant. Next spring, or this spring, when the soil warms up, they will begin to grow again. They're like onions, the bulb will get smaller because it's utilizing that energy in order for seed production. Both of these are related to one another, and they will get a growth stem 3, 4, 5 foot tall and have a massive flower with hundreds, if not thousands, of little tiny black seeds. And that is your seed saving mechanism. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about, we had saved leek seeds, and they weren't germinating very well. Well, the second batch I planted did germinate.
Well, that's good.
So we don't have to buy any. But I had to go through like the whole, the little there was probably, 10,000 seeds, and I got enough to start. They were 5 years old. If you weren't with us a couple of weeks ago, and leeks and onions again have a lifespan of about 1 to 2, maybe 3 years.
Yeah, they're a smaller seed.
A smaller seed, and the smaller seeds' viability decreases much more rapidly than a pumpkin or a bean seed.
Right. So leeks and onions, you can save those. Onions are a biannual, so you might not get a good onion.
You can always leave a leek and an onion this year after you've harvested everything and let them go to dormancy, and then do this a year from now and have your own kind of seed factory in your garden for things that are a little more challenging to save seeds. A tomato, you let it ripen. It takes a little time.
Parsnips.
Parsnips is another one in which...
Make sure you know what's a parsnip versus a carrot, because parsnips and the carrot tops look kind of the same. Well, actually, parsnips look like... Parsnips look like pine trees. Carrots look like sweet lace. Queen Anne.
Queen Anne lace, yeah.
No, parsnips looks like Queen Anne lace.
No, other way around.
Is the other way around?
Yep.
All right.
Carrots are similar in seed production as a Queen Anne lace, which is a wild plant.
And I think that's toxic, isn't it?
I can't quote it. I don't know it.
But whatever.
Parsnips, you do the same thing. You have your parsnips growing. You leave one alone. We did this about 10 years ago, and it will the next spring flower up, big stalk, massive canopy, and it will start dropping little seeds everywhere if you don't catch them. So that is one way. If you're very passionate about parsnips and liking parsnips, this is a great way to continue to restock your seed envelope or a barrel or jar.
I don't really like parsnips.
Well, then it's not for you. Carrots are the same thing.
Yeah, carrots are the same. You can save the seeds.
Now, when you if you're going to save seeds from any of these items in which we've spoken about, parsnips and carrots are going to be kind of a little more of a challenge, but you want to leave the largest root that you can. If a large diameter top, obviously you can't dig it up and then shove it back in the ground, but you can push some of the soil around. And if it's got a very large diameter,
like bigger than a quarter,
anything large, the piddly ones you don't want to save because it's not going to have good genetics. But you want to leave big, large diameter roots in the ground for that. And here's the other thing. with these leeks, with these onions, with these parsnips, these plants, you want to mark them because in certain areas of the country, there is a lot of snow and these go dormant and then they'll grow back up. If you're somebody who gets in the garden and tills or spades or agitates the soil, you need to know where these are because it will happen that, I was going to save parsnip seeds. What is that I just tilled up? That was the parsnip I was going to save.
Yeah, it's always good to plan ahead when you are growing, especially root crops.
As much as it may not look pretty, a snow stick, an orange or yellow.
Oh, one of those,
driveway markers, and then put a little label around it, leek, onion, just until they start regrowing again, so you can not lose these. Kale.
Yeah, so you can save kale seeds.
We have saved curly kale. We've saved Russian kale. Again, you let one go, you let a plant go last fall, and it regrows again. Now, if you, let's say you had Brussels sprouts or cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, and you've chopped that thing to the ground because you've harvested it. Yes, there's going to be some growth that comes off of that rootstock.
But it's not going to be enough to make seeds.
Or if it does, it's not going to be, I would not rely on those seeds to focus on starting.
Something like kale, that grows for quite some time.
And radishes is not something that you're going to grow, leave in the ground. This is something you're going to grow. They take 30 days to reach maturity. As the days get longer and hotter, they're going to bolt. Put a flower on. Bolting is a mechanism that the plant utilizes. It grows vertically, very quickly, flowers, seeds.
So radishes have this, they grow this seed pod when they're growing seeds. And then when you open them up, there's this spongy type material, and then you get the seeds, and they're just little black radish seeds.
Yeah. In our front yard garden, we've had quite a proliferous amount of radishes going to seed, so we can walk out there at any time, grab a handful of ones that fell over and died last year, break apart the pods, and plant them.
You can eat the seed pods.
In the immature state. In the immature state of that green pod, you can consume it, and it's going to taste exactly like the radish bulb. So if you forget to harvest your radishes, you don't want to pull them up right away. Let them go to seed. You can save seeds. You can also save the pods. They kind of mimic edamames. Whenever you can use them in many different dishes. A bonus seed-saving springtime plant is pole beans. And we've done this, you got pole beans, you didn't harvest them all last fall. It went over the winter. They hung in the winter on the trellis. We've actually gone in the spring and grabbed handfuls of the pods that were still there because they got too big, and we just let them go to seed, and we never harvested them before the winter. And we planted them, and they took off because they went into dormancy. Just like tomatoes, when they fall on the ground and you didn't get them, they go into a dormancy until the next growing season. So before you go in and start tilling your garden up or raking all the debris off, look and see where your tomato plants were last year, what may be germinating, little seedlings, and you can either leave them grow where they're at, or you can slightly, gently dig them up and transplant them, and you can expand let nature start some of your seeds for you.
There you go. Work smarter, not harder.